Good. It's 12:49 Central Time, 10:49 local time. 116,680 miles in the Yodo, 2,453.2 miles on the trip. We're going southbound on US 89 from Page to Grand Canyon. Mile marker 485. It's 78 degrees outside. And do you know where your children are?
The Grand Canyon. I've been there twice, once in 1997 when I didn't know how to plan a road trip, and 2008 when planning a road trip was almost an art. Some might consider Grand Canyon National Park as the premier national park in America. I would contend it's Yellowstone, but I didn't name Grand Canyon as one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. But if I'm completely honest about it, the park might be in my top 10, but not in my top 5. To be fair, here's what I wrote 20 years ago. The words you've heard describe the Grand Canyon, grandeur, awesome, majestic, doesn't begin to describe the feeling you get when you stand on the rim of the canyon and look into its depths. The enormity of the canyon is incomprehensible. The Colorado River, which is around 300 feet wide and 5,000 feet below the rim, appears as a small stream. If the Rocky Mountains didn't make you realize you're just a speck in this world, then this place certainly will. Fast forward 11 years and put about 60,000 road trip miles between the two trips, and I'd probably say the same thing. But I'd also add that it's too crowded, the food at best is mediocre, and unless you're prepared to do some strenuous hiking at 6,500 feet above sea level, or spend 5 days in the raft, the place is inaccessible. The park is located in the northwest corner of Arizona and protects 277 river miles of the Colorado River. The park actually starts within the Lee's Ferry unit of the Glen Canyon National Recreation Area, where the Paria River meets the Colorado River, and protects the river until it empties into Lake Mead. The only section of the park that's really publicly accessible is this area of the park. I'm sure the North Rim has forest roads that you may be able to follow to the rim in appropriate vehicles, but most of the south and east side of the park are reservations. You generally need to be invited. The two rims that are accessible to the general public is only 10 miles apart, but it's a drive of over 200 miles from Grand Canyon Village to the North Rim. And if you're going to do that drive, between the park and Cameron is the Little Colorado River Gorge, a Navajo tribal park. It's upriver from the part that turns the river blue, but it's a narrow, deep gorge with guardrails. And you might as well plan a day or two at Glen Canyon National Recreation Area in Page, Arizona. It's pretty much on the way. There are numerous places to stay, and even a Walmart in Page if you need to stock up. Go to Rainbow Bridge or take the dam tour, and be sure to stop at Navajo Bridge and the Lee's Ferry unit of Glen Canyon. Then don't get distracted by the fact that Zion National Park is here, Bryce Canyon is here, Cedar Breaks National Monument is here, and if you want your shoes, socks, and floor mats pink for a while, Coral Pink Sand Dunes State Park is here. We'll start with the North Rim since we're already here. I was there in 1997 and only took pictures. We may have only gone to 2 viewpoints. Looking back, it was the first time I was at 8,000 feet above sea level for a sustained period of time, and it was probably bothering me. But I was a road trip newbie at the time, and probably didn't realize it. The South Rim is a much different place than the North Rim. It's generally about 1,500 feet lower in elevation and has 4 times the number of tourists visiting per year, mostly due to its proximity to civilization, like Flagstaff and Las Vegas. The viewpoints are empty in the morning, crowded in the afternoon after all the tourists begin to arrive, and insane at sunset because it's sunset over the Grand Canyon. In 2008, it was so bad that we gave up on the last few viewpoints and drove straight into Grand Canyon Village. Oh, and a word about Grand Canyon Village. It's a place where all the tourist needs are located by the South Rim. It has food, unlike the place at Desert View, which only serves pretend food. I did eat at the Arizona Room, but I would only rate the food as okay. The village also has first aid, groceries, a post office, visitors information centers, and of course, souvenir shops. All the lodging by the South Rim is in the village, which means you can stay at the viewpoints until after sunset and not have to drive a strange road at night. So if you're planning a trip, plan ahead. Well ahead. I was planning my 2008 trip in the spring, and all the hotels in Grand Canyon Village were already booked. But it wasn't until August that a room in Maswick Lodge opened up. A room in a Rim Hotel never appeared, and I checked at least once per day. I'm gonna start the South Rim from Desert View, because I've always visited Grand Canyon starting from Desert View. Desert View is the easternmost viewpoint in the park. It has some services like gas, seasonal camping, a store, and a place that supposedly sells food, or should I say sells supposed food, and the Indian or Desert View Watchtower. It's 70 feet tall and appears to be an ancient structure, but it was constructed with a steel frame in 1932. You can get up into the building and provide some very nice viewpoints of the canyons below. The Tusayan Museum showcases some Anasazi ruins from about 1200 AD. Interesting if you haven't seen any before, but you can find them all over the Southwest. It's just around this point that Francisco Vasquez de Coronado stood, probably the first European to see the canyon in 1540. He was a Spaniard looking for the 7 cities of gold. Of course, the 7 cities of gold never existed, but hey, at least we still remember his name.
Pretty late in the day. You're down there at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You're in trouble. More clouds to come.
My recommendations would be, yes, go visit the park. It is, after all, the Grand Canyon. But unless you're going to be hiking, it's a 2, maybe 3-day park. Add a day if you're going to go to the North Rim. If you are going to go to the North Rim, a trip to Zion or Bryce Canyon should be on the plans if you can fit it in. And I would suggest a side trip to Monument Valley. It's about 175 miles to the east if you can fit it in, and you get to see some of the most iconic Western sights that you've seen in the movies since you were a kid. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and a comment and subscribe.